Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariana, otherwise known as the Progressive Brat, and today I am giving my analysis on the heartbeat bill that was just passed and activated within Texas. I have a lot of opinions on this, but I do want to give an overview and kind of like my hot takes of the situation, because as a progressive political commentator, I think it's a very big switch from where we want to go as a nation and where we saw ourselves going. And, I would love to speak about this and give you my analysis. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more videos like this. If I keep looking up and down, I'm just looking at my laptop. I have some notes. I have also listed all of my resources down below in the description box in case you would like to see where I got my information from. As well as I have linked a website where you can actually sign up if you want to get news about different pro-choice rallies going on within the US that's going to get planned soon. I linked a website where you can sign up and you can see where those rallies are at and hopefully go to a rally close to you or promote it so that people will go. As of right now, as I'm filming this video, in Texas, nearly all abortions have become illegal. The bill that was passed, so the heartbeat bill, only allows women to receive abortions within 6 weeks of their pregnancy, which is a very small window, which most women aren't even aware that they're pregnant at that time at 6 weeks. So usually women, they miss their period, like it takes 4 weeks, and then they notice that they've most likely missed their period within that 5 to 6 weeks. So it gives women a very short window to be able to find out and go get the procedure done if they choose to do so. The argument for this bill essentially is that you can hear the baby's heartbeat at 6 weeks, but most gynecologists argue that the sound of the heart at 6 weeks isn't actually the heartbeat because the heart isn't fully formed until 9 weeks. And I've linked that information down below. This is the first heartbeat bill that has survived any legal challenge. Governor Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, signed this bill right after he also signed an executive order banning mask mandates. So just to get this straight, the COVID virus has more rights than women in Texas right now, which is, yeah. Anyways, just to make this clear, abortion providers did ask the Supreme Court to block this from happening, this bill from going through. But the justices essentially took zero action. The heartbeat law provides no exceptions for cases of sexual assault or incest either. So if a woman has been sexually assaulted, or if it's a case of incest or the R word, and they would like to get an abortion or the procedure done, they can't. There's no exception. This bill is very black and white. You know what I mean? There's no exception for these types of cases. But what's very important to know about this bill is that it was written very differently than the way they've written it in the past. So the provision in this specific bill that I'm talking about, instead of having state officials enforce the abortion ban, right? The bill lets private citizens to do this by suing abortion providers. So what does this mean? It makes it harder for pro-choice advocates to sue officials to block the law, since technically the state isn't enforcing it. So this is a law enforced by the people and not the state. Let me put this in perspective, right? Let's say my neighbor Susie wants to get an abortion, but it's past 6 weeks. She can't legally get it done at Planned Parenthood or anything like that. She decides to go to a doctor who's doing back alley abortions. The doctor that does the back alley abortion, the person that provides transportation for her, if anyone gives her any kind of financial or monetary support, all three of these people that helped her get that abortion would be legally implicated. So Susie herself, who's getting the abortion, would not be legally implicated, but anyone and everyone who helped her get to that point of the abortion would be legally implicated. Now the Right to Life group in Texas has set up a website where citizens can post anonymous tips about these women's rights or people that are helping these women to get these abortions. Citizens can submit anonymous tips. And what's crazier about this is that if any of those anonymous tips end up becoming a successful tip and that person becomes legally implicated, the person who submitted the anonymous tip will win at the very minimum $10,000. So the person that snitched on the Right to Life website would receive a minimum of $10,000 for their tip that ended up being correct. The women who attempt to receive these abortions are not the ones getting sued. So just to make it clear, it's not the state, it's not the, government officials, it's the citizens basically snitching out other citizens, getting awarded and putting other citizens into jail, if that makes sense. For now, this is only a Texas law, but what this means for women in other states, I don't know. It's set a very interesting precedent, I guess, to say the least. Abortion providers in Texas are saying that they will abide to this law because they literally don't have any other choice, which means that if the woman or the person that's pregnant is past 6 weeks, the abortion cannot be done unless the patient is in serious danger of death carrying out the pregnancy, and that is only in very, very, very rare and specific circumstances, the way that this law works. This will leave most Texas women to be forced to travel out of Texas to receive the operation if they can't afford it. This means going to Mexico, going to neighboring states, and that's only if they can afford it, right? If they can't, then they're going to be forced to carry out this pregnancy or have it done legally and put the people who are helping them essentially at risk. Under this law, women need to detect their pregnancy as soon as they miss their period, essentially, as well as gather the funds, schedule the appointment, arrange the transportation within the first 2 weeks of that missed period, which, like I said, is an extremely hard thing to do. Most of these abortion facilities are backed up. Most of them are underfunded. They are understaffed. Being able to detect your pregnancy, being able to schedule and plan all of those things within a very small 2-week window is just very, very, very hard. Essentially, they've made it impossible for women to get these abortions. These types of bills have somewhat come to life since 2016. So this isn't the first heartbeat bill, right? Texas is the first one to actually have it go through and have it be put into effect because the Supreme Court justices essentially did nothing to ban it. The heartbeat bill began to start in 2018. Donald Trump picked Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who is an anti-abortion, advocate. Once she was picked as the Supreme Court justice, these groups started really stepping their pedal on these kinds of restrictive laws. Similar to Texas, Iowa, Kentucky, Mississippi, Louisiana, Ohio, and Georgia passed their heartbeat bills too. So this bill has been passed in other states as well, all of the states that I just listed. The only difference with them in Texas is that none of them are actually in effect, with most of them facing court challenges from reproductive rights groups. The challengers of Roe versus Wade argue that science and technology has significantly improved since 1973 and that court decision should be overlooked. That's their argument. Before Roe versus Wade, officially, approximately 200 women died per year from back alley abortions, from trying to induce their own abortions, right? So falling down the stairs or ingesting poison, things like that. And that's the ones that are on record. It is most likely more, they're just not essentially recorded. Essentially, it's been many years since the Supreme Court has officially heard a case on abortion. Or restrictive abortion rights. But in May, the Supreme Court announced that it would hear a case named Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, a case involving a Mississippi law banning most abortions after 15 weeks, which is still a bit less restrictive than the one in Texas right now. To be honest, at this point in time, Joe Biden's general performance as a president has not really wowed me, to be completely honest. And I don't really see him doing anything drastic or jaw-dropping in regards to this situation at any time. He gave a statement that to me was very frail and not really doing it, but I don't know. He might surprise me. I guess I'll have to see. With that being said, I have a lot to say about this. Now that I gave kind of a background on the situation and what it is, what it entails. This abortion ban, in my opinion, will only fuel women to seek back alley abortions, putting them at serious risk of harm, hemorrhaging or causing death in the worst case scenario. Not to mention the lack of action from the Supreme Court is also incredibly worrisome. What could this possibly mean for women across the U.S.? I mean, Texas is the first state, then it's going to be Tennessee, then it's just going to roll downhill from there. I mean, is there going to come a day where Roe versus Wade is completely overturned? I don't know. That's a serious question that I feel like we as women should ask ourselves and the people that we put into office, because Trump's freaking legacy is still following us apparently to this day. So the lack of the Supreme Court is very worrisome in my opinion. It's actually the most worrisome element of this whole entire event, because what this means for the future of women's reproductive rights, I just don't know. It scares me. It seriously scares me. Could the heartbeat bill still take place state by state and then eventually expand to the country? It's very possible if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, which with Amy Coney Barrett, whatever her name is, it's a very possible thing that could happen, right? And also, whatever happened to the separation of church and state? The people that propelled this heartbeat bill are conservative Christians. I'm not a conservative and I'm not a Christian. So why are their views and their religious beliefs becoming forced onto myself and other women, especially women in Texas? I am a Muslim by paper. Am I forcing people to abide by the ways that I live? No. So why are you trying to force your ways of living onto me? It just doesn't make sense. It just seems very against everything America stands for, I guess, the best way I could put it. I don't know how to phrase it, but you know what I mean. It's amazing to me because Islam is chastised by the media every single day, right? I mean, I have seen so many tweets comparing Taliban to America and how America is becoming like Islam. Don't stop doing that. Stop comparing conservative Christian politicians to Islamic Sharia law. Seriously, give credit where credit is due. What happened here was that conservative Christian politicians passed this abortion law in Texas. Stop comparing it to Islam. This was not Islam. This was the politicians that y'all voted into office. So give credit where credit is due. Okay, seriously. I'm gonna move on because that's not even the main point that I'm trying to make, but I did want to point that out there. Stop comparing it to anything else. Give credit where credit is due. This is because of white, conservative, Christian men. Okay? It's not because of Taliban. It's not because of Sharia law. Stop comparing it. It's not the same. Please, for the love of God, it's not the same. I have another point to make as well, okay? So some of the people that are really happy about this bill passing are the people who oppose vaccines and vaccine mandates. Yet they completely agree with this law that authorizes the government to decide for a woman what she should do with her body and her life. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because how can you be so against the government mandating vaccines or forcing you to get vaccines, X, Y, and Z, but you're totally okay with the government making a choice for a woman on what she should do with her body? It's incredibly hypocritical, and if you think that way, your argument is invalid. If someone is pro-life, then that's fine. You don't even have to get an abortion. Why are you trying to force your ideology and your belief onto me and other women? Like I said, I don't go around forcing people to believe in what I believe in. So why do you feel like it's okay for you to tell me what to do with my body? I don't care if you think it's murder. I don't. If you think it's murder, then God and I will take it up. God and I will take it up when the time comes for us to deal with it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's none of your business. It's really not. I'm not for the government mandating anything. I don't want the government to tell me what to do with my body, including vaccines and abortions. Now, I am fully vaccinated, but I was able to make that choice, which is my exact point. We live in a republic, and we really pride ourselves on being a democratic republic. So why are we stepping 10 steps back, when it comes to what we stand for and what we believe in? Here's my thing, like, if you're pro-life, right, and you believe that this is a sin, why don't you let the person that's doing the procedure deal with it? Like I said, it's none of your business. God tells us not to judge. God makes it a point to tell us not to judge, because he knows, or she, whatever, however way God's form is, knows that people are not perfect. So who are you as a pro-lifer to judge other women like myself on whether it's right to get an abortion or not? You're not God, and you're definitely not my God. So your point is also invalid in that sense. When it comes to a choice that I have to make with my own body, that's my right. That's my say. It's not yours or Christian, Republican, conservative politicians, which are, by the way, all male. And also, if you're a man, your argument is invalid. If you don't get pregnant, if you don't have that ability to get pregnant, your argument is invalid. You don't go through what women have to go through. You don't know what their situation is. You don't know if they have the mental capacity to be able to carry out a pregnancy and give it up for adoption. It's not your choice. It's a woman's choice. And I really want to end this video by saying that if you're pro-life, that's fine. I don't have anything against pro-lifers personally, but stop forcing your beliefs on everyone around you. Stop it. I don't enforce any of my beliefs on anyone, and I don't want anyone to enforce their beliefs onto me. It's that simple. It's that simple. And you know what? This is going to be an ongoing fight. So I have linked multiple ways that you can help, whether you are in Texas or outside of Texas. I have linked a website that you can sign up for. If you want to go to protests, it will send you alerts of when and where protests are at. I have linked funds and other things. So please go check underneath in the description box and let me know what you think. If you are a pro-lifer, if you are a pro-choicer, if you have gotten one and you would just like to give us your 2 cents, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to have a conversation with you. As always, thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, and obviously subscribe for more. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.